Alright, so the Blizzard Sorcerer absolutely destroys Pit Tier 31 and can easily farm that second level of masterworking materials. There's a couple of updates that I've done to this build to make it do this, as opposed to my previous video that a lot of people actually enjoyed, but some people didn't, and here's why. My enchantment skill was a little off, so we fixed that and we kind of modified a few other things, and I want to go over what all we have now and then showcase the build in action. And when I do that, I'll likely turn my camera off so you don't see me biting my lip or doing something weird while I'm trying to run through the pit, but it's clearing Pit 31 at about 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. It's fantastic so far. For the skills on this build, it's going to look very similar to my previous one. I have 2 points into Firebolt so that we can enchant it for the burning damage, but then on the next part of the skill tree, I still have 3 into Potent Warding, but I have 1 into Frozen Orb because we're going to enchant this instead. There was a lot of people that actually pointed this out to me and said, hey, this can apply your burning effect for you and you don't have to worry about using teleport to apply it or anything else. And I was like, I wonder how reliable that is. I've tested this out a few times and it's actually fantastic because not only does it do the burning thing, but the greater Frozen Orb rune adds the vulnerability to it, so this is fantastic, which I think I said twice already, but that's okay. The next part of the tree remains pretty much unchanged almost entirely. I still have Shimmering Flame Shield, Shimmering Teleport, the Enhanced Ice Armor for the mana regeneration. I only took 2 points out of Frost Nova to make this happen on the Frozen Orb part, and those 2 points increased the cooldown by, I think, 1.1 seconds, so that's honestly the only reason I was using Frost Nova to begin with. I guess for the Frozen part of it was for the vulnerability application, but since that's now kind of covered by Frozen Orb almost always, you don't really need to rely on that 1.1 second difference. The next part of the skill tree is completely unchanged. You still use those defensive passives, which are Mana Shield and Protection. This gives you a barrier every time and damage reduction every time you cast either one of your cooldowns or you use X amount of mana. These two are awesome, and I think they're on every single Sorcerer build. On the Blizzard part of the tree, nothing has changed. We still have that same skill with the Rune of Mages. That's going to increase how long it is on the ground or its duration. And then we have 1 point into Inner just so we can get 3 into Devouring Blaze, and you do more critical strike damage, or rather your ice spikes specifically do more critical strike damage to all burning targets, which is pretty much everything now that we've got this enchantment changed. The ultimate tree also remains pretty much unchanged. I still use Deep Freeze because it's my favorite ability in the game, and I still have 3 into all 4 of these passes over here that just increase our damage even further. I personally run 3 in Fiery Surge. These points can be given anywhere else. You can finish out Frost Nova, or you can put them into whatever the hell else you want to put them into. I just like the mana regeneration from this because I find mana to be an actual issue even when using a resource potion on this build. And then of course we have Avalanche because again, this is going to give us free casts once in a while, and those free casts do bonus damage. So that's pretty much it for the skill tree. We have almost all of our stuff is either tempered or masterworked up to some extent. Anything that's got these nodes at the bottom just means it's masterworked. The stats on this build are relatively unchanged, but a lot of the stuff that I'm using has greater affixes in one way or another that I was using. This is not optimized to the fullest just yet, but we're getting pretty close. Like my weapon, for example, is a little interesting because it gives us a shitload of crit damage, raw damage, and then intelligence. And as far as I'm aware, intelligence does increase the damage on your ice spikes. Still want to verify that 100%, but as far as I'm aware, that's what it does. So that's why you go int on most of your stuff. But the tempering stuff on your gear is what's really important. And you go ice spike damage first and foremost. And I actually rolled on my 4th roll or whatever for masterworking, where you increase one of your affixes by 25%. Mine actually got ice spikes like you see on screen over here, so I'm super thrilled about that. So I'm keeping this dagger for as long as I can. My offhand kind of does the same thing. It's ice spike damage and then a random lucky hit chance, although the lucky hit on this one comes into play very, very, very greatly because this is giving me shadow damage, and that shadow damage is actually triggering the 4th tier of my Talrashas and one of my Paragon glyphs. So somehow I got lucky with that lucky hit chance, and I was doing that on purpose like as a test, and it turned out it worked. So that's why I'm still using Talrash's ring, because I crafted a legendary ring to be as good as I possibly can make it. I mean, with ice spike damage and everything. And for whatever reason, Talrash's ring was still doing about 5,000 more damage than my other one was. Just like a little bit. It was maybe 5 to 10% of a damage increase, but still it was there. So I'm relying on Tals for now. You can use a rare ring if you want to, or whatever you want. But on the necklace, again, ice spike damage is one of the big things, but I'm actually going with Frost Nova Size as I believe it's in the defensive tab or one of them when it comes to tempering, but Frost Nova Size and Frost Nova cooldown is what's on the rest of my gear. So on my neck, I have Frost Nova Size. On my boots, I have Frost Nova Size, and then increase run speed after killing an elite. That doesn't really matter. On my pants, I have Frost Nova size, but I also have Frost Nova cooldown reduction. On my gloves, I have it's the trifecta. I have the vulnerable damage. I have literally everything on the gloves that I would want. I don't think I'm going to trade these out for pretty much anything at this point. I have Ice Spike damage, Frost Nova size, greater affix of life, and then intelligence, so it's feeling pretty good on these gloves right now. My chest armor is again Frost Nova cooldown and size, chill, slow, potency, whatever the hell that means, but I also got Frost Nova size. So again, the things that you mainly want to focus on are Frost Nova, either its size or its cooldown, and then Ice Spike damage on anything that can hold Ice Spike damage. Go crazy with that. Unfortunately, our stats, by the way, having all resistances is very helpful because you die a lot as a sorcerer, but nowhere on here does it show our Ice Spike damage or anything like that. Our crit chance looks like it's low. I had one pair of gloves that was better than this, but I ended up bricking it when I was trying to temper it to death. I didn't get Ice Spike damage or Frost Nova, so it's really sad, but it was like 12% perfect critical strike chance. But keep in mind, your Ice Spikes have like an innate, I think it's either 40% or 60% chance to crit in addition to what's already on your character sheet. But anywho, because it doesn't say in here in the stats screen, our Ice Spike damage is through the goddamn roof. Now, for the Paragon board, what I'm going to suggest is instead of showing you my Paragon board, because it's a tiny bit different, I implore you to follow the max roll guide, and that's going to be in the description. There's going to be a link that says max roll guide for Blizzard, blah, blah, blah. Use the Paragon board there, not whatever I'm using here, because I moved a couple of points around and I'm going to end up going back to the Paragon board that you see on the max roll guide. Now, without further ado, let's get to the pit. We're going to do a tier 31, which is what's going to give us the next level of masterworking gear, because I want to show you how easy it is to do it on the Sorcerer, or rather the Blizzard Sorcerer, which is obviously my favorite class in the game so far. I will say in advance, one of the most important things is you have to make sure you keep up your barrier the whole time, because while you do an ass load of damage, you're still pretty soft and it's pretty easy to die. On one of my tests, the boss killed me a bunch of times, but I killed him in like 10 seconds. So it was kind of annoying. It was a little bit of a back and forth, but we figured out what was going on, and it was because I wasn't keeping my barrier up because I'm kind of an idiot. But let's get to the gameplay. This whole section, I'm going to have my face gone. I won't probably have any voiceover or any audio or anything like that. You'll just have game sound and Blizzard Sorcerer gameplay. So that total run was maybe 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, but that was the most ass cheese dungeon design I think I've ever seen. There were so many ways to go the wrong way and then you have to backtrack. I actually thought Blizzard fixed that, but apparently not. It's fine. It's cool. But again, that should be a really good example. I mean, I played that horribly and I still cleared that in about 4 minutes and some change with all of the stops, the hang-ups. I almost died a few times, let's be honest. But this build is a ton of fun and almost anyone can play it. You kind of have to pay attention. It's so easy to die, but you do a lot of damage. I think at this point, after playing this for a little while since season start, and I have not played Frozen Orb yet, I've seen what Frozen Orb sorcerers can do. I'm starting to think that that's the way to go, but I don't want to give up on Blizzard yet. I want to see how far I can take it. I'll do another video if I can clear like a tier 60 or a tier 90 or even 100 on Blizzard. That would be incredible. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you got what you needed from this video. Please, if you feel like there's anything that you want to add to this or anything like that, throw it in the comments section down below, and on your way down there, maybe like and subscribe. They're free. They really help out the channel here. But for the love of God, if you have anything to say that's not constructive in any way, shape, or form, and you're just going to scream, hey, your build is wrong, just see yourself out. Nobody wants you. Nobody cares. But in the meantime, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and if you're bored, YouTube is going to recommend this next one for you. Happy grinding, travelers, and we'll see you in Sanctuary or the Pit.